What's up, guys? All right. So we are talking video today. I This is one of my favorite topics because it's really prevalent right now, like on social media. Everybody knows that they need to do more videos, and yet so hopefully this particular class, gives you the confidence that you need in order to start shooting video. I would say to that, you definitely don't need my permission to do that. If you need to get out and just start doing videos, and that's what I suggest. But I am going to do things maybe a little differently today. I'm going to give my typical presentation. Obviously, I want you guys to ask questions, and I'll get to those as the conversation goes on. But I also, when I ask you to fill out the survey at the end, I really want you to leave your contact information, because if you fill out that survey for me at the end, and if you leave your email, I'm going to send you guys 100 social media ideas. So that's 100 days of content, essentially. And so that could get you through an entire year. Might get you just through 100 days, however often you like to post. But we can also talk video ideas as well. So if you stick around until the end, jump in that survey when it is offered, fill out the survey, leave your email, and then I'm going to send you personally 100 different ideas for your social media pages. So hopefully you guys stick around until the end. I would love to help you out with some of that. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys, and we will go ahead and get started. While we're waiting for me to do that, if you guys would please introduce yourselves in the comments, your name, your company, whether you have experience doing social video or not. That's always kind of fun to see who has tried doing video before. And also, like, where on the, levels of like 1 to 5, like how comfortable are you on video? I've gotten a lot better at being on video just because it's kind of part of the job now. But there are a lot of people that, like, as soon as the record button starts happening, they get sweaty and nervous, and they forget what they're supposed to be doing. And so it can be a real struggle for a lot of people. And so hopefully some of these best practices are going to help you kind of get over that hurdle a little bit. And the great thing about it is that we can do this together, right? Like if you are having trouble, shooting that first video, I want you to reach out to me, and we'll do it together. And I know that social media, moving forward, video is the thing. And so we need to embrace it now before it leaves us behind. So anyway, we're going to talk about how to embrace video to stay connected. You guys always have to look at my awesome, duck face. All right. So the Zuck man, right? So he sees video as a mega trend. This was like a quote from like 5 years ago. So he saw video as a mega trend 5 years ago. So it is a mega trend. It already has been a mega trend. And this is something that we really have to start incorporating into our social media accounts, especially when it comes to Facebook. We'll talk about the algorithm here in a second, but just so you know, this is something that if you have a business page and you're not posting video, move it to the top of your to-do list. Even the shortest little videos are going to make a huge difference. All right, so real quick, some Carla. Hi, Carla. Nice to see you here again. Yes, we're gonna give you all the information you need to get started with video. Hi, Jennifer. Oh, you do social media for T-Mobile. That's fun. Love that. All right, so some learning outcomes. I want to talk about why video matters, and that's, kind of goes back to the algorithm on Facebook specifically. And then also I want to talk about using the tools that you already have. So I'm not saying you need to go buy a fancy camera. You don't need to go buy a tripod or a microphone. Everything you need, you already have. And then we're going to talk logistics, like the actual how to shoot the video, and then how video operates on different platforms. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is like mentally preparing for shooting a video, because that's a really big one, especially if you're an introvert. I'm an introvert with like extrovert tendencies, and so I can turn it on when I need to. But for a lot of introverts, or like I don't know, like wallflowers. We like to let everybody else do the talking, but if we are the business owner, right, like we have to put ourselves out there. So we're going to talk about these things moving forward in this class. So let's jump right on into it. Here's some statistics for you guys, just to give you a little idea of like why video matters so much. In 2019, 80% of online content was video. Now think how big the internet is, right? Like think of all the blogs and the articles and the photos and the different websites and everything out there. 80% of all online content is video. That's huge. It's a thing that we have got to adapt to, and not in the sense like we need to compete with 80% of the content out there. No, we need to be a part of that 80%, right? Because that's how people are engaging with content online. Hi, Tracy. I know you. Seen you at some events around town a long time ago. Tracy and Stacy. That's why I know your twin sister. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, editing is a huge challenge. Actually, I taught a class earlier last year about starting using iMovie, so that might be a good one to jump into as well. But I would love to have a one-on-one with you about editing. A little bit more of why video matters. If all this content online is video, that's showing you where the trend is going, right? It's showing you how people are engaging with the internet. They're not going to Amazon and just looking at pictures anymore. They're going to Amazon and looking at tutorial videos, right? They're not just reading a blog on how to do a thing. They're reading the blog and then they're watching the how-to video, right? There's always this video component with it. Megan's texting me. I froze. Oh no, am I still frozen? I hope not. I'm gonna pause until I know that I'm not frozen anymore. Okay. Maybe it's only Megan's computer. I don't know. It'll be fun. You guys should let me know if I'm frozen or not. And until then, I'm just going to keep going. This is why comments are so important. Glinda. Oh, wait. Thanks, Carla. Kendall. Well, welcome. This is the place for you. So 90% of users say that watching product videos help them make buying decisions. And I don't know about you guys, but I do this all the time. Thank you guys so much. Whether I'm on Amazon or even if I'm on a small business website, like some small e-commerce, if I'm thinking about buying a product, I want to see pictures, obviously, but I also want to see how it works, right? I don't want to just buy a service. I want to see how the service works. And so video makes a huge, huge difference in buying decisions, you guys. And if you are a small business owner, fun fact, you want people to spend their money on your products and services. And so if you can show them what you do in a video, or if you can provide them value in a video, they're going to build this trust with you. And that's going to help them make that buying decision. Another thing is that viewers retain 95% of a message when they watch it on a video, opposed to only 10% when they read it. So this is kind of the transition between like blogging and vlogging, right? So there's a reason that this class is a video and not an article, right? Like, could I write an article on how to do videos on social media? Sure, absolutely. Would you read it? Maybe. Would you remember what you're reading? Statistically, you'd only remember about 10%. And it's so much easier to connect with a human on the other end of the screen, right? So this is why we do video. This is why video matters. And as a small business owner, knowing these three things, where the trend is going and how people are buying and how they're retaining the message, this is like, check, check, check. Yes, I'm ready to do video. You've convinced me. All right. So I talked about this just a second ago, but some of the biggest benefits that we get from utilizing video is building trust with our customers and our community, and then transparency, right? We want to make sure that we're not hiding behind some filter or some facade or trying to be bigger than we are or more professional than we are. Like there is a beautiful sense of transparency that video allows us. And I really like it on a personal level. I think being transparent is one of the best things you can do, not only as a part of the community, but as a business owner, right? If you're real with your audience and you're real with your customers, it goes hand in hand with trust, right? So I'm not all buttoned up and professional and my hair straightened because that's not who I am, right? Like I teach this class looking the way I look, sounding the way I sound, because if you come in for a one-on-one with me, this is what you're going to get, right? Like I'm not going to do a bait and switch, right? I'm not going to get all dressed up and fancy for this video and then turn around and you're like, I don't even recognize this person, right? And it goes more than just like what you look like. It's also what you sound like, the words you use, the language, the way that you communicate, right? So trust and transparency. I mean, as a business owner, if you have your customers' trust, that's all you need, right? Because if you have their trust, you can get the sale later down the road, even if they're not a customer right now. But if they're following you and you're giving them value and they trust that value that you're giving them, sold, right? So I want to talk a little bit about the video marketing funnel. And so I want you guys to think about this in your audience's perspective. So let's say that you are your customer. Get yourself in that mindset. You're not you are your customer. Now, maybe you don't know what this company is. Maybe you have no interest in it. You're what we call a cold audience. The idea of the video marketing funnel is to get that cold audience right in the top of the funnel. All we need is them to get in the funnel, because once they're in the funnel, we can move them down the line. So we turn them from a cold audience into a warm audience into a hot audience. Hot audiences purchase. Warm audiences engage, and cold audiences are just there to learn and get value where they can, right? So think about it this way. This funnel right here at the very top, how do we get people excited? We entice them, right? This is social video. This is demo. This is vlogging. This is culture stuff. This is, that really good value that we can offer someone. And then we kind of move a little further down the funnel into interest, right? This is more informational content. You've done the demo, but now we're going to talk about, let's think about a coffee business, right? Like it would be really cool for a cold audience who's not looking to buy, not looking to purchase, whatever. If I'm a coffee business, I'm going to do a demo on how to do beautiful latte art, because we know that if I'm scrolling on Facebook and I see somebody doing something really cool with a cup of coffee, I'm going to stop and look at it, right? Not because I need to go and buy a coffee right now, but because I appreciate the artistic beauty of awesome latte art, right? So I'm going to sit there and watch that. So that's my demo, right? Like that's how you're going to entice me. So if I sit and watch that video, now next week you post another video, but you're not doing a demo this time. This time you're doing informational. You're showing me your coffee. Where do you get that coffee from? Where is it sourced from? What are these flavors that the coffee's bringing? Tell me more about the coffee and the origins of this coffee, right? Like what notes am I going to get when I taste this coffee? Okay, you're giving me good information. You're teaching me something that's educational, right? So now I was enticed with the pretty thing. And now you're giving me like some good meat information, but you still haven't tried to sell me, right? So that might come with a special offer. You might talk about the coffee and be like, and you know what, if you guys come in the next week, there's 15% off this particular type of coffee. All right, you might get some people coming in, right? So you're almost turning a cold, warm audience into a hot audience. Now we move them further down the funnel. This may be the most important part, right? This is the converting. This is how we get them from that cold and warm audience into the hot audience. We do posts that require like a contact form, right? So for example, if you guys were sticking around for the beginning of this particular video, I said, hey, just so you guys know, I'm going to do something a little different. there's going to be a survey link at the end of this class. And if you fill out that survey and if you leave me your email, I'm going to send you a 100 social media ideas for your Facebook page, right? Guess what? It's a ploy, right? Like, I want to give you the thing, but I also want to be in contact with you, right? So unfortunately, I'm a free service, so there's not really a bunch of sales that I'm doing, right? But if I were maybe a business consultant, right, and I was teaching this free class and I'm offering this free thing, but you have to email me, right? Like, you're giving me your contact information. That's that contact form, right? So you filled out the survey, you gave me your contact information. I give you the free thing because I've provided you value. But now if I have a newsletter that goes out, or I've got your contact information now. So now I can email you updates. I can email you special offers. I can email you new products. I am not going to do any of that. I'm just going to give you a free thing. But you can see how this works in other businesses, right? Like, if you go to the website for the first time, they're like, oh, 10% off your first offer or your first order. I do that all the time, you guys. I put my email address in. I like 10% off. But what happens is, once I fill that out, right, I get my 10% off, maybe if I even buy something. But now I get constant contact with them, right? And via email. So now we're talking converting. So these videos that we do in terms of converting is really truly showing value of something. So now my coffee business, I'm going to have my cup of coffee and I'm going to provide you value. I'm like, listen, guys, I know that you like your Keurig coffee. And, I think it's really awesome that people have created like these single serve coffees, but I'm going to tell you the best way to get the best taste out of a Keurig cup of coffee. I'm not selling you anything, right? I'm telling you, listen, I know that you're going to use a Keurig, and that's not what I would use, but I know that you're going to, so I'm going to help you make it the best for you, right? And I don't know what that is. And if anybody has tips on Keurig coffee, please let me know. I think it tastes like bean water. But now you're giving them value, right? You're like giving them something that they never asked for, but it shows you as an industry expert, right? So these are all things that we move them further and further down the funnel. Testimonials are great, right? If I have a coffee customer that's like, I could not, get through the day without my awesome cup of coffee from Hannah's Coffee every morning, whatever that testimonial looks like. But we're getting them further and further down the funnel. And then these videos that we're going to get them in the very bottom is like customer only stuff, the fun, the culture, more information, right? Like, show behind the scenes stuff, show what makes you the best in what you do. And maybe it's how-to stuff, maybe it's more demos, maybe it's you volunteering at a local charity or whatever it is you do that makes you awesome, show that in a video. Everything that you can post to social media, you could do it better in a video. And you're probably like, I beg to differ because I'm terrible on video, but we're going to get there. But think about moving people down this funnel, right? What kind of camera and mic am I using right now, Tracy? I'm using the camera in my laptop and the microphone in my laptop. But for your guys' videos, there you go. We all have high quality cameras in our back pockets with our smartphones. So I would suggest, using your smartphone if you're going to get started doing that. Or if you've got, I've got a Mac, so the, video quality is pretty good. But use your laptop, use your phone is my best suggestion. All right. Which kind of filters right on into, for the love of God, guys, you don't need to go buy a $1,000 camera. You're already spending a crap ton of money on the one that you already have, right? So use your smartphone, use your iPad, use your laptop, use these things that you're already paying money for, right? So some things when it comes to your smartphone, right? One of the first things that I would suggest if you're going to start doing a lot more video is go high definition in your settings. So you might think, I have a camera on my phone and it shoots in whatever it shoots in. False. So you can go to your settings, whether you have an iPhone, Android, whatever, go to your settings, go to your camera settings, and then it's going to let you choose what definition you want to shoot in video. So there's lots of different options. I like to shoot in 4K. Usually there's a couple different options for that, but if you're shooting in 4K, the frames per second is way more than if you were just shooting in the standard, factory setting that you get with your iPhone or your Android. So what that does is it just makes the quality of the video way, way better. Now, with that comes storage issues, right? So I have a ton of storage on this phone. I shoot in high def all the time, but the more you shoot in high def, the more storage it takes on your phone. So if you're the type of person that has a lot of pictures and a lot of videos and a lot of apps and a lot of stuff on your phone, think about the fact that if you're going to be shooting these longer videos in high def, you're going to want to make space for that. So what I would suggest is shoot the video in high def and then transfer it somewhere on, to the cloud somewhere. So if you have a Google Drive or an iCloud or a Dropbox or however you keep your stuff online, transfer it there. And that way it can live there and you can delete it off your phone. Make sense? I just don't want you to, I used to get notifications all the time. It's like, oh, storage on your phone is almost full. Delete some stuff. And I'm like, I know that I have 20,000 pictures of my baby, but I can't delete any of them. So we're going to have to find a different solution. And the solution is find another place to store these things, right? So, so we need to go high definition in our settings. If you guys need help doing that, like I said, feel free to reach out and we can do a Zoom and we can walk you through step by step. Every phone is different, unfortunately, so can't tell you exactly what to hit, but it's going to be in your settings under your camera settings. So another thing that's kind of fun is play around with like the slow motion and the time lapse functions on your phone. Especially if you do something that takes a really, really, really long time to do. Maybe you are some sort of chef or you're in the restaurant industry or you make jewelry or whatever it is that you do. If you're a maker, creator in some way, that time lapse function is so, so cool. I have a couple friends that do cookie decorating, right? So they make the really pretty sugar cookies, right? Like with super beautiful details on top with the icing. But they do these time-lapse videos of them making those cookies, right? Because it takes a really long time just to get one. But when they show you the time-lapse, you can appreciate the art and the effort that goes into it. And there's a reason for that, right? They're not selling these cookies for like 50 cents, right? These are high quality cookies that the price tag on them is maybe a little steep if you're just looking for, a box of Price Chopper cookies, right? But if you're looking for these specialty cookies, once you see the time lapse of making one beautiful sugar cookie, you understand why they put that price tag on it, right? So it's infotaining, right? It's giving them information that you don't have to come out and say, it takes us a really long time to make these things, which is why we price it the way we do. You just put it out there and they can come to that explanation for themselves. And I would be remiss if I said, there's a million apps. There's a million apps out there that are going to help you with your video making down the road. So if you have Apple, products, get iMovie. iMovie is a really great way to start with video editing. I have so many video editing apps on my phone right now. There's honestly probably too many to even go through, but Boomerang, right? Like Boomerang was kind of like old school for a while and it's still kind of fun, but if you're an Instagram user, Boomerang's like the little 3-second video of you doing an action, then it just plays it in reverse. So it looks like you're constantly like doing a thing. There's Image Play, there's Intro Maker, Motion Leap is really cool. Nutshell was one of my favorite ones because you just take 4 pictures like all in one sitting and then it kind of like speeds these things up. And I don't know, it's a really cool app on your phone. I could literally sit here and list a billion different apps and all the different functions that they do. But the best thing that I could suggest to you is to go into your app store or your Play Store and just Google or like search for video editing, video whatever, because there's going to be a bunch of stuff out there that is as simple as upload a video and put your logo in the corner, because a lot of people are going to be looking for something like that. Or maybe you want to take that next step up and you really want to start editing some stuff. Well, there's a bunch of video editors that you can do right from your phone. I really like doing a lot of stuff from my phone. Of course, I've kind of taken a step up when it comes to video editing, and I have software on my computer. We can talk more about that if you want to set up a one-on-one with me, and we can talk about a little bit of some higher quality video editors. Oh, well, here you go. Here's a bunch of apps. I told you I can name a bunch of them. Here's some really great ones. Magisto, Splice, InShot's really great. A lot of people like that one. Cameo is a big one. Like I said, Nutshell's kind of cool. Boomerang, iMovie. Of course, we got TikTok on there, you guys. TikTok's a video app. So if you want to start using some video, you can, of course, go to TikTok and start learning that one. Fingers crossed on a TikTok class coming to you soon. We're working on it, you guys, I promise. But, all of these are going to be options for you to download, play around with them. If you don't like it, delete it and download a new one. This is my favorite thing about smartphones, is that if I download an app, I don't have to keep it. I just delete it and I don't have to worry about it, right? So apps are really great. Don't let them scare you. Don't think that you're incapable of learning something, right? Like, I thought I was pretty incapable of learning TikTok. In fact, I had just written it off. I'm like, nope, that's not for me. But then I'm like, number one, I work for the public library as a small business specialist, and I know full well that I'm going to start getting questions about TikTok. And if I don't know the answers to that, or if I don't know what resource to point these people to, then I'm not doing my job, right? So I'm not doing my job as a business specialist. Now, from a business owner's perspective, TikTok might not make sense for you, but if your customers are on TikTok, or if your customers are using any sort of social media, these are things that you want to consider, right? So maybe you don't need to worry about TikTok, but maybe you do. Or maybe you just need to learn it a little bit. But if you need help learning it, we can learn it together. Send me an email, fill out that survey, and we can do it together. All right. So logistics. This is easy, you guys. This is quick and easy, right? We talk about orientation. So a lot of you guys might be watching this video on your cell phone. So if you're watching on your cell phone, if you're watching it like this particular video is probably taking up the top portion of your screen. Or if you've turned your video sideways, right, it's probably taking up the entire screen on your phone. Now, if you're watching it on your desktop or your laptop, you're getting the full thing. When we're shooting video, we have to think about the end user, right? So what platform are we going to be posting to? Default orientation, we want to be shooting in your landscape, your horizontal orientation, right? It's not natural for us, especially when we're shooting with our phones. We're so much more likely to start shooting video this way. But if we would just flip that phone over, this is great for Instagram. It's good for Facebook. It's good for LinkedIn. Like, it's good for YouTube. Like, this is the orientation that most social media platforms are going to do the best with. Now, it doesn't mean that if you shoot it like this and it's not going to work on Facebook. It absolutely is. But what happens is you get those black bars on the side of the screen. And especially for people viewing on a laptop or a desktop, they're not able to, you're not filling the screen, right? We want to make sure that when we're doing a video, we are filling the screen entirely. So think about what platform you want to post to before you shoot your video. Now, I just said all that. If you're going to start doing TikTok, this is not the orientation that TikTok suggests. TikTok is all about the vertical video. I hate it because it goes against everything that I have ever taught and learned in my entire social media career, but that's the way it is. And you can't fight City Hall. So if TikTok says that we only are accepting vertical videos, then that's what we're going to have to deal with. So think about your end result, where you want that video to go, and then figure out which way you need to hold your phone. So Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, go horizontal. TikTok, or if you're doing like Facebook stories, you want to do a vertical orientation. We also want to talk about framing. So real quick, I have positioned myself in the middle of my screen, but you'll notice that we have, this is going to be really trippy for me. It might be over to this side. The presentation is over here, right? So this is really important because if I was just like a little off, it looks bad, right? Like it just doesn't look right if I'm a little off to the side. So when we're talking framing, we talk about the rule of thirds. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3 of the screen. For the most part, it's best to just stay right in the middle. But if you're talking more editing or if there's something going on behind you, moving off to the 1/3 or the 2/3 area works out really well also. But you just want to make sure that your framing looks correct. A great example of this, and maybe great's the wrong word, but a better example of this is I like to play around with different backgrounds. Now, I know everybody's laughing because, oh, lovely white wall, right? Like, but go back and look at some of my previous videos that I've done and look at the different backgrounds and see, is Hannah positioned in the middle of the screen or is she positioned off to the side? And if I'm positioned off to the side, it's probably because something is happening right here that I can point to, right? So talk about framing. You want to keep it in the middle for the most part. And then zoom. Of course, we can zoom on our phones. But when we zoom, we start to pixelate things. And so we lose that high definition. So if you're going to use your phone to video yourself, get as close as you need to get. Sometimes it's weird, guys. Sometimes it's weird to have a phone that close to you, videoing you. But if that's what's going to give you the best outcome, then that's what you have to do. So try not to zoom too much on your phone because it's going to really pixelate things and it's not going to be as aesthetically pleasing to watch. All right, flash. It's like back to the early 90s, right? With the red eye and all the stuff. So for the most part, we don't really need to worry about flash. Our phones have been really great in the fact that, they don't need that bright flashlight to see what you're doing. You're probably not shooting videos in the dark. I don't know what your life is. Maybe you are. If you are shooting videos in the dark, I want to know what you do. But for the most part, we don't really need to worry about flash. But what we do need to worry about is backlight. So if this behind me was a window and the sun was shining in that window, I would look like a giant silhouette and you wouldn't be able to see my features, right? You couldn't see the details. You couldn't see my face, which is going to be a problem, right? Especially for shooting video. But for the most part, I've got a light above me and I've got a window in front of me. So that light is coming in this way and it's hitting me in a way that you can actually see what my face looks like. So think about backlight. And the best way to think about this is you always need to keep the light source behind the camera. Easy, right? So if you're outside, think about where the sun is. And if you're doing a selfie, just keep the light behind the camera and then take your picture that way. Or if you're shooting a video this way and you're facing the sun, you want to make sure that the light is behind the camera, right? So whatever, if you're shooting a selfie video, awesome. If you're shooting a video somewhere else, maybe you have a tripod, you're setting your phone up on something, you have a friend shoot it for you, you want to make sure that you've got the light behind the camera or else your subject is going to be in a complete silhouette. And nobody likes to watch a video that they really can't see the subject. Is a ring light worth purchasing? If you start doing a bunch of videos, absolutely. If video is something that you really want to jump into and you want to start doing it on a weekly basis, tripods are great. The microphones are great. All that stuff is great. But what I would suggest is take a month or two, start shooting videos with nothing but your phone and see what happens, right? There's ways to get good light without having to pay for it. There's ways of getting good audio without having to pay for it. There's a way to have a stable camera without having to pay for it. So do those things first and figure out, do I need to spend money on a ring light? And if you do, awesome. Like I've got suggestions. We have all the equipment and I like to play with all of it. But I don't want you to spend money on something that you're not going to use. I don't want you to spend money on something that you use once and then it collects dust. Which is why I'm going to continue to teach this class, because video is important. It's important. You need to be doing it, but you don't necessarily have to have all the equipment to do it. So ring lights are cool. If you've got one, awesome. But any lamp works, right? As long as you keep that light source behind the camera, you don't have to go out and buy all that extra equipment. Audio. Probably the most important thing, you guys, when it comes to shooting a video. People will forgive you for bad visual stuff. Everybody continues to watch these videos, even though my hair is all out of place. Sometimes the light's not just right. But the audio is usually pretty good. Now, maybe there's a little echo going on in here. I can't tell. I'm just listening to myself. I've been listening to myself talk for the last year and a half, but the audio is super, super important. So things that we need to think about when we're getting ready to shoot a video is, can I control the audio that's about to be recorded? So I am in a room by myself. I know that nobody can come in this room because it is locked, right? So there's not going to be a kid that comes like barging in here, like screaming. Now, granted, there might be a kid that runs by the outside screaming, and there's not much I can do about that, but it's all about controlling the controllable. But you want to make sure that you control your environment to the best you can. So if you, I have 1,000,001 examples of times when the audio got messed up. So example number one, I was shooting at a wine store, and every time somebody entered the store, right, the little like doorbell like went off. And so if I was shooting a video, every single time a person came in the store, it was like ding, 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 ding. And then you could just hear it constantly throughout the video. And I'm like, oops, how do we turn that off, right? So that's one example of really making sure that you're controlling the audio around you. Another time, this was more frequently, but we were doing a Facebook Live a little later on in the day. The libraries were not open until 9 o'clock at that point. They were closing at like 7, but our class went until like 7:30, and the intercom kept going off, reminding people that the library was closing in 10 minutes. The library is closing in 5 minutes. The library is closing in 3 minutes. The library is now closed. Like, please come check out your books. And it was like constant, and it was happening during the video. And so these are all things to think about. You also want to check the audio settings, right? So if you are shooting on your phone, make sure that, test it out and then listen to it to make sure the audio sounds good. This is going to sound kind of gross, but sometimes the speakers on your phone get a little dusty, especially if you have like a phone case on, like I do. Sometimes like some dust and gunk gets up in the speakers. And so in order to have the best quality video, sometimes it's nice to take like a little Q-tip and just like clean that out. Or they make little like air sprayer, like keyboard sprayers or whatever, so you can kind of clean the speakers out of your phone. It does make a really big difference. But always check those audio settings on your phone as well as on your laptop. You want to make sure that everything audio is good to go. And you know what? Maybe it's worth getting a little $10 mic. But like I said, don't spend any money on any equipment until after you know that you're going to fully commit to shooting video for social media. All right. Audio. I'm never going to stop talking about audio. So there's kind of a sad statistic when it comes to shooting video. And that statistic is that 85% of social video is watched with the sound off. And that makes shooting video and putting that out on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, like really difficult for a lot of people, because they're like, okay, well, I'm going to put this on there, but only 15% of the viewers are going to watch it with the sound on. Like that seems like a giant waste of my time. Yeah, all video, all the time. Thank you. So there's a couple ways around that, right? And so we know that if we have these statistics in our back pocket, there are ways that we can get through it. And I have 3 ways listed here. Really, I like to say that there's 4 ways. But the first way is to shoot a video without any audio at all. And it sounds a little silly to do that, but it's really, it makes sense if you're doing something like a time lapse, or if you're doing, like showing a tutorial or something. You don't necessarily need to talk through it. You can say everything you need to say in the copy of the post. So if you're a food truck and you're at an event, you can literally just do like almost a panorama of the event that you're at. And then you can post it to Facebook saying like, thank you so much, City of Gladstone, for hosting this food truck event. We had a great day. Thanks everybody for coming out and supporting us, whatever that is, right? But you've still made a video, even though there's no audio that necessarily needed to be listened to. My favorite option here is utilizing subtitles. Subtitles are even bigger than they were when I originally started teaching this class. And so this is something that was really, really difficult in the beginning, but they're making it so easy now. So Facebook specifically has made this really easy for you. What happens when you go to upload a video to your Facebook page now, your business page specifically, is it's gonna give you all these options, name your video, describe your video, choose a thumbnail for your video, and then it's gonna ask you if you want captions. And you're like, hell yeah, I want captions. Click that button, you guys, because what it's going to do, it's going to ask you for the language in which the video is recorded. It's going to listen to it, and it's going to create subtitles for you, and it's going to automatically put those on that video. Now, the cool thing is it's going to give you a transcript of the video, so you can go through and you can edit the things that it got wrong. Sometimes pretty important. I don't know about you, but sometimes I don't enunciate my words the proper way, and sometimes technology thinks that I said something that I did not say. So utilize subtitles when you can. Facebook makes it really easy. Most social medias are headed in this direction, and you can just click the box that says add captions, and it's going to create those captions for you. Not only is this helpful for people who are maybe watching video with the sound off, maybe they're at work or in public, or checking out in the grocery store line. There are places that we're on our phones and we're maybe watching stuff or scrolling through stuff, but we're not listening to it, right? So not only is it good for those people, but it's also good for the deaf community, right? Like now we're opening ourselves up to even more of a community because we've been more inclusive, because we're adapting to something that we should have been doing all along, right? So utilize subtitles every single time you can. Another option, and this one seems really silly too, but it actually works, is when you post a video, if you're talking through the video, if the audio is really important, in the copy of the post, say, listen to this video with the sound on. Just tell them what to do. And if people see like sound on, they know like, oh, I need to listen to this because someone told me to. And I promise you it works. People see that and they're like, oh, okay. And they click on it and they listen to it. So that's another option. So these are your three big options. I did mention the fourth option. The fourth option is not a very good option in general. That option is make the video so awesome, so eye-catching, so appealing, so exciting in the first 3 seconds of the video that people, when they see it, can't help themselves but click on it. Not an easy task. But you'll notice that every time we go live in these videos, I'm doing something stupid with my hands. Because if I can get people on Facebook to see me doing something dumb or crazy with my body, they're going to be like, what's Hannah doing now? Hopefully they click on it, right? And then we can kind of go into the class because I've grabbed their attention. Maybe that's a little bait and switch, but you see what I'm talking about. If you can make your video so good in the first 3 seconds, by all means, you don't need to worry about anything else. But until then, utilize the subtitles, tell people to listen to your videos. All right, so video on Facebook. Now, video on Facebook works different than video on Instagram or LinkedIn or YouTube or TikTok or any of these other social media platforms. Now, they all have similarities, but I'm going to talk about specifically how video works on each platform. So Facebook's up first. The first thing we want to talk about is just be really visual with things. We want to make sure that everything's eye-catching. Facebook, Unfortunately, Facebook is for old people now. So if you're watching this, you're probably a fellow old. So sorry to break it to you, it's not for the young kids anymore. They may have Facebook to appease their family members, their parents, but it's not the cool thing anymore. But that being said, it doesn't stop us from scrolling as fast as we possibly can. And so when you think about how you utilize Facebook, think about how quickly you can scroll and read things and see if it's interesting or not before you scroll past it. Now think about you as a business owner posting a video that maybe you worked really hard on and having somebody scroll right past it because they didn't think it was visually stimulated enough to stop on it. All right, so we want to make sure that we are being really visual and something really eye-catching right off the bat. We want to create playlists. So on the Square One Facebook page, if you go to our video tab on our Square One Facebook page, you'll see that we've created playlists. And these playlists range from database help with Kelly to social media help with Hannah to getting the grant different series. We've got so many different playlists because all of these classes sometimes fit into different sections. And so as a business owner with a business page, you might think about what your playlists are going to look like. You might have a demo playlist and a new product playlist or a culture behind the scenes playlist, whatever those things are. If you separate those out into playlists, you're going to get people that are more likely to continue watching in that playlist. So, let's just say that tomorrow, you go back into the social media, the Square One social media videos, and you're looking at the one that I did on Instagram. You're going to watch that video. Well, what happens when that video ends is it's going to automatically start playing the next one in the playlist, which is Canva 101. And then the next one is how to use video on Canva. And then the next one is, social media for beginner, whatever it is, right? But those playlists are going to keep people more engaged in your videos. Another thing we want to do on Facebook is add a featured video. So when people go to your video tab on your Facebook page, there's going to be a featured video right at the top. So you can select whatever video it is, but you want to make sure that that featured video is one that you actually want people to see, right? So maybe you have a really awesome video that represents your entire business. It's like a brand video. That would be a great one to put at the top of the page. Or maybe you've got an event coming up that you really want people to attend. So you would make that your featured video. So this is not something that you select once and you don't touch it again. Look back on your featured video at least quarterly, right? Make sure that you're switching it up, make sure that it's relevant, and make sure that it's eye-grabbing. Native video. So when I say native video, I mean video that you upload directly to the platform. So this is something I've taught for a really long time, and it still, really resonates with people today. But people like to be on Facebook and they like to be on YouTube, and we go to YouTube to look at fun videos sometimes. And when we're on YouTube, we see something, we're like, oh man, I really want to share this to my Facebook followers. And what happens is we're more likely to copy that YouTube link and then paste it into Facebook. But that's not native video, right? That video lives on YouTube, but you've shared it to Facebook. And what happens is Facebook doesn't show it to anybody because Google owns YouTube. Facebook and Google are big competition with each other, and they don't want people going somewhere else to watch, different content. They want the content to all be on their platform. So when you're going to upload a video from your phone and you want it on different platforms, make sure you're uploading it natively to Facebook. You're uploading it natively to YouTube. You're uploading it natively to LinkedIn. Because if you're going to share across platforms, whatever platform you're using is not going to like that. And they're not going to, show that video to many people just because they want people to stay on their platform. And if I click on a YouTube link, it's going to take me to YouTube. So think about taking another extra step basically and making sure you're posting native video every single time. And then this is really important, really not just on Facebook, but across any platform, is a call to action. We want to make sure that when we're ending our video, we give a clear direction to our audience. Thank you so much for watching this video. Here's the next thing I want you to do. So I've got a couple call to actions that I like to do at the end of my videos. Of course, I like to say, fill out that survey. I'd like to say, email me for a one-on-one. I like to say, make sure to share this content with others. I like to say, play around with lots of different stuff, but whatever that next step is that you want them to take, make sure that you're including that in your video. The most popular call to action for any video is to like this content and like our page, or subscribe to our page, subscribe to our channel, whatever that is, that like and subscribe. When we ask people to do a thing, they're more likely to do that thing. If we do not ask them to do the thing, they're probably not going to do the thing because they're unprovoked, right? So this is how video works on Facebook. Now let's talk about video on YouTube. A little different. The audience is a little different. We want to make sure that we're targeting our audience on YouTube, because YouTube's algorithm works a lot differently than Facebook's algorithm. YouTube is all video. Facebook, there's lots of different types of content there, but YouTube is all video. So we want to make sure that our audience is really, really specific. So we know that our audience are small business owners or job seekers, right? People that are looking for help with resources, right? Like that's the library's audience. But we're not going to post YouTube videos that don't have anything to do with that audience. So we really want to make sure that we're targeting specifically our audience on YouTube. And think about the things that you go to YouTube for. Because when you use that search bar, it's Google, right? It's Google search engine. So what they're doing is they're saying, okay, Hannah went to YouTube and typed in how to change the oil in a Toyota Camry. And so what happens is that I watched the video, and now what happens is this algorithm is like, Hannah needs more car information. So it's going to start giving me lots more of like Toyota Camry stuff, how to reset this on a Toyota Camry, how to change a tire on a Toyota Camry. It's going to keep hitting me with the same type of content. So you really want to make sure that you're very specific in your demographic on YouTube. All of these things, I'm going to hit these really quickly, but be interactive on YouTube. Ask people questions. Make sure that you're asking them to smash that like button and smash that subscribe button, and send them off to different links and show them different videos and really engage with your audience. That's what YouTube is all about. It's creating this like an interactive experience. Probably the most important thing you can do is be consistent. YouTube values consistency more than any other platform. So if you post once a week to YouTube, continue to post once a week to YouTube, because if you stop being consistent, they're going to stop showing your content to people. If you're going to post 3 times a week, you better be posting 3 times a week. But the most important thing you can do is just stay consistent in your posting. Also, be searchable. Make sure you're using the right language when you're naming your videos and you're describing your videos. This is going to be really, really important for your audience as well, because if they're not using the same language that you're using, they're not going to be able to find you. And right, hand in hand with that is be shareable, right? Like, what videos are you putting out on social media that is shareable content? If you're providing value, if you're educating in some way, if you're giving good information, that's all shareable content. But you need to make sure that you're not just putting stuff out there that nobody cares about, right? Like, make it so value additive that people can't help but share it with their coworker or their friends or their family, whatever. If you're hitting these things on YouTube, you're going to be successful. Instagram. So video on Instagram works a little different, right? We want to make sure that we're reducing our words, not in the video itself, but when we're describing the video. Instagram is very like themed. You want to make sure that your the aesthetic of your video like is pretty similar every single time. Utilize Reels. So Reels is Instagram's version of TikTok, and sort of, but you can utilize the different tools that Instagram has for you. So Instagram, if you're going to upload a video onto your feed, right, it has to be 60 seconds or less. So if you have anything longer than that, it's going to automatically make you post it to IGTV, which is for everything longer than 60 seconds. So really think about how your audience is engaging with Instagram, because if your audience maybe they're on Instagram, but they don't watch IGTV, they don't click to watch more, then everything you need to post to Instagram needs to be really concise and under 60 seconds, which goes right in hand with keep it simple, right? Like give them what they need. And your call to action on Instagram is going to be, if you want more of this content, make sure to follow me on Facebook or follow me on YouTube, because the full video is going to be there, right? So this is all about like almost recycling content, right? Maybe you've got a 5-minute video where you're talking about the best practices for tying your shoe. On Instagram, you're going to be like, tying your shoe is really, really hard. And there's a lot of people out there that say this is the best way to do it, but I know the solution. And if you want to know the best solution to being able to tie your shoes like an expert, make sure to check my full video out on YouTube, and then give them that link in your bio. And they're going to be like, oh man, tying my shoes is so hard. So what do? They go and they find that full video on YouTube. So Instagram's a good way to get people directed to another one of your platforms. You want to make sure that you're maintaining your focus, because Instagram, again, is, a scroll-worthy social media. People can scroll by really quickly. They see a thing and then they scroll right past it. They're like, all right, done with it. So we want to make sure that we are keeping it simple and we're staying focused, because we have 60 seconds, you guys. It's not a long time to get your point across. And then you're also going to want to utilize hashtags on Instagram. Instagram is still the best place for hashtags. When you're describing your video, make sure that you're utilizing those. My best tip for utilizing hashtags or figuring out what hashtags to use is to go to my friend, Mr. Google, type in best hashtags for whatever your video is about. And there's going to be a website called best-hashtags.com, and it's going to give you the best hashtags for whatever you typed in. Click on that, and it gives you 30 hashtags that you can copy and you paste right into the description of that video. Now, do not use more than 30 hashtags, because then it's not going to post, right? So Instagram has a cap of 30 hashtags. So utilize the 30 and then move on. Utilizing the 30 is actually really important, because the more hashtags you use, you're broadening your reach, right? So utilize those hashtags the best you can. If you need more help with hashtags, I'd love to help you out. I think that some hashtags are really interesting. And also I get the question a lot of, do I create my own hashtag or do I use hashtags that already exist? Both, right? Like we want to make sure that we're utilizing the hashtags that are really popular, but if there's something, that you do in your business that you want a specific hashtag for, and we start branding all of your content with that hashtag, we need to use that one as well. So utilize both. All right, video on TikTok. So this is like TikTok, like mini class. TikTok is all about telling a story, right? And it's telling a story in a very succinct way. So again, we're doing a vertical video and we're talking directly to the camera. TikTok videos with a person in the screen get like 40 times the engagement of a TikTok that doesn't have somebody in the screen. So we're talking selfie videos. We're talking a video that looks like this, right? And we're telling a story or we're giving information that way. TikTok is really great for life hacks and did you know, or learning something else, showing the behind the scenes content in what you do. So if there's something that you think is really interesting that you do behind the scenes, then share that, and TikTok's a great place to do that. There's really like a 24-hour relevancy on TikTok. That's why, this is gonna sound like really crazy and it's probably gonna deter you, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I have an obligation to give you the best information out there. If TikTok is gonna be your source of social media, the place where you are doing your marketing, advertising, and branding, they suggest 1 to 2 TikToks a day. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of editing and it's a lot of content that you're putting out there, but that's because the relevancy of your video is like a 24-hour lifespan. And once it goes past that 24-hour mark, it kind of like falls to the graveyard of content, unless somebody finds your page and they watch all of your videos that you've done. But in order for them to find your page, you have to like stay relevant. And so you're having to shoot a lot of videos every single day. So Don't mean to deter you. If you're into TikTok and shooting videos every day, I highly suggest it. Just know that if you shoot something today and post it today, by this time tomorrow, you're not going to get any more views unless something really blows up. You want to make sure that you're keeping it real. Of course, this is kind of goes back to that trust and transparency, because you're probably telling a story. You're in the video. You don't want to be more like professional than you are. You want to really like show your true personality. So keep it as real as possible, and then try to be infotaining. Like I said, tips and tricks work really great on TikTok. That stuff gets shared a lot. People have learned a lot of really cool stuff from TikTok. So if you've learned something awesome from TikTok, I want to know about it. Or if you have the TikTok saved, put it in the comments. My boss, Amy, she sends me TikToks all the time. And sometimes they're like silly dog videos, but more often than not, they are videos on social media and video editing. So TikTok's not just like teenagers singing and dancing and doing like really funny, weird stuff. There's a lot of really great content out there on TikTok as well. So if you're not going to utilize TikTok as a place to shoot your videos, you might go on there just to learn some more information about the industry that you're in. All right. This one's important. We want to make sure that we are mentally prepared to shoot these videos. And the best way to do that are these three things on this screen. The first one is eye contact. Eye contact is really, really important, not only when we're in person, but also when we're shooting video. I've tried my very best to look right into the eye of the camera for this video, because I know that when I talk into the eye of the camera, I'm talking to you, the audience, right? I'm talking to you specifically sitting at home or in your office or on your couch or wherever you're watching this video, right? Now, it's hard to do, especially because maybe, I've got a screen in front of me, right? It would be easy for me to like look off to my screen and look at my notes, or look just under the camera and read off of a screen. But when I'm talking directly to the camera, it goes back to trust and transparency. I'm talking to you, I'm making a human connection. So eye contact's really important. And if you're a person who doesn't do great with eye contact in real life, then this is the best thing that you can do, because you're not actually having to look into another person's eyes. You're just looking into like a little tiny green light on a laptop. Another thing that if you're struggling with maintaining eye contact, something you can do is like take a little Post-it note and put it right next to the camera up there. And if it helps you, like draw a couple eyes on there, or maybe take cut out a little picture of your friend or your best customer, or, somebody that you really love and trust. Because if you feel like you're having a conversation with someone, then it makes it a little easier. So if you need to put something next to the camera to help you with that eye contact, I've highly suggest it. Another thing, and I've mentioned this in a lot of my classes, but smiling is actually really important on video. I don't typically like telling people that they need to smile, because I feel like if you don't want to smile, you don't have to smile. I hate when people tell women to smile. But when we're talking about being a business owner and shooting social video, smiling is going to be a really, really important factor, right? Because it's all about approachability and, that connection that you're making with someone. So when you're starting your video, make sure that you're like, hey, like, thank you guys so much for watching this video today. This is what we're going to talk about, and just have a chipper look on your face. Some people have RBF. If you don't know what it is, Google it. I'm not one of those people, but people that do struggle with this particular syndrome sometimes have a hard time when it comes to like that natural approachability. And so, a good rule of thumb is to just remind yourself, like, if I was face to face with this person, I wouldn't be frowning at them. I wouldn't be upset with them. So try to smile, try to kind of feel relaxed there. Which brings me to the third thing, which is if video stresses you out, and it stresses a lot of people out, you're not alone in that. But if it stresses you out, the best thing that you can do is before you hit the record button, take a deep breath in and let it out. And do that a couple more times. Take your deep breaths and then know that everything that you're doing that maybe makes you feel uncomfortable is all to grow your business. Everything you do is to build your brand. Everything you do is to make more sales. Everything that you hate doing it's for some greater purpose, right? And that greater purpose is growing your business. And if you can connect with your community via video, that's something that you're going to be willing to do, right? And so just deep breath in, deep breath out, hit the record button, say what you need to say. And if you need to shoot it a million more times, then shoot it a million more times. And I see that Tracy just popped this in. A clean camera lens is really important. Absolutely. If you have a little like microfiber cloth, just make sure that you kind of clean that off a little bit, especially when we're doing stuff on our phones. Our thumbprints get over everything and it makes a huge difference. I'm sure that if I like cleaned this one off, then it might make everything look a little better. But yeah, the clean camera lens is going to be huge. It kind of comes to like phone maintenance, right? Like just make sure your phone lens is clear, your speakers are clear. Something that I tend to do, like if I'm shooting a video this way, I sometimes have like fat thumbs. You can see my thumb in the video. So those like phone maintenance things are really important. So thank you, Tracy, for mentioning that. So another thing we can do to mentally prepare for these videos is kind of have like a general game plan of how the video is going to go. So don't necessarily write a script, but have some bullet points that you know are topics that you want to hit. That way you don't start the video and you're like, I forgot what I was going to say, right? Like have an idea of what you're going to say before you hit the record button. And then, like I said, know your surroundings, know if there's going to be a speaker going off, know if there's a bell about to happen, turn your phone on silent, if you are worried about getting a phone call. And then don't be too stiff, right? Like if you need to like shake it out, then do that before you hit the record button. Megan and I were listening to the Hamilton soundtrack before I started this video, just to kind of loosen up a little bit and get into a fun, energetic mood. So maybe if you need to listen to like a pump up song before you shoot your video, then absolutely do that, which I'm just curious for the 9 people still watching this video. I want to know what your pump up song is. So drop your pump up songs in the comments because I'm going to test them out in my future classes and see if they pump me up too. So drop those in the comments. I want to know. I'm going to create a Spotify list of pump up songs. And then always keep your customer in mind, right? We're not shooting videos for us. We're shooting videos for our customer. We're shooting videos for our audience. So everything we do for them, right? So what value are you providing them? And what is the purpose? What is the goal of the video? Because the goal of the video is not to just shoot it, to put it out there. It's to get a step further with this customer. So whether it's the enticing them in some way or educating them or giving them a little piece of information, whatever that is, just know that everything you do, you have to do with your customer in mind. And then also, best thing you can do, try new things, right? Trying new things is how we get better at life, right? We can't be a business owner without incorporating new ideas. We have to be innovative in our approach to not only social media, but in marketing in general. So try something new today, try something new tomorrow, whether that's shooting video on your phone or shooting a time lapse or shooting a slow motion or maybe downloading TikTok and just watching other people's videos and doing some research that way. But continue to try new things. Also, please fill out that survey. I promised you guys, if you fill out that survey and you put your email address in that survey, it's going to have a spot where it asks you for your email address. I'm going to send you 100 social media ideas for your social media page. So I want to make sure that you guys get that. So please fill out that survey for me. It's going to make a huge difference, not only for me, but also for the library as an organization. We can't continue to put on these classes without input from our community. So if there is a class that you want more information on, put that in the survey as well. We want to make sure that we're giving you the best information out there. We want to make sure that we're providing all the access to the resources that we possibly can. We just want to help you in whatever aspect of your business or your entrepreneurial journey. So fill out that survey for me. Drop your pump up songs in the comments. I still want to know what those are. And just have some fun, you guys. And if you want a one-on-one, put that in the survey as well, and I'll follow up with you. But these are things that we can do over Zoom. We can talk fundamentals of video. If you want to shoot a video, and then we can have a one-on-one and I can look at it and we can kind of figure out what worked and what didn't. I want to do that with you as well. So if you need somebody to hold your hand that first time shooting a video, then I'll hold your hand and we can hit the buttons together. So like I said, fill out the survey, try new things, shoot me an email, and let's start shooting videos. Let's start putting more videos out on social media. So I appreciate you guys. I'm looking forward to sending you this free 100 social media ideas for your social media pages. Until then, I will see you guys later. And thanks so much for joining me this evening. Bye.